Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine a NASA astronaut, someone you'd think is incredibly composed, right? Seeing something. Oh, something so disturbing it was apparently kept under wraps for decades. Today, we're doing a deep dive into a pretty wild claim that a prominent NASA astronaut witnessed footage of dead aliens. We're looking at allegations from Clark C. McLean, who says he was a NASA spacecraft operator. He claims astronaut Ellison Onizuka told him a shocking secret not long before Onizuka tragically died. So we'll get into the alleged footage, the context McLean gives, and the big questions around McLean's own credibility. And yeah, we'll definitely connect this back to the whole Roswell mystery. So McLean's story is that Onizuka saw this footage during what NASA called a psychological assessment. It sounds intense. Can you maybe paint a picture of what Onizuka supposedly saw and why? Why would they do such a test?
Well, the detail McCulling provides is it's quite specific and unsettling. He claims Onizuka saw this screen flicker on, showing something like a medical exam room, and on slabs, small bodies, described as humanoid, large heads, big dark eyes, small torsos, thin arms and legs. And the crucial part, they did not appear to be of earthly origin. Imagine being Onizuka. It would stick with you. And if you look at the bigger picture, those descriptions, they sound remarkably similar to what witnesses allegedly saw at Roswell back in '47.
Ah, right. So there's that immediate connection being drawn. It's a deeply disturbing image, absolutely. And the psych test angle just adds another layer of weirdness. But maybe even more critical than the footage itself is the person making the claim, Clark McGoylan, because his credibility. It's been seriously questioned, hasn't it?
That's definitely where we hit a major snag. McClune's credibility is a big issue. He's faced a lot of criticism for other, let's say, outlandish claims. And crucially, despite saying he worked for NASA, you can't readily find his name on their official websites or related agency lists. That lack of official verification is, well, it's a problem for this story.
Okay, but McClin has a kind of counter-argument for that, right? On his own website, something about history being written by the winners and truths that we can control aren't tolerated. He basically claims it's a cover-up, suppressing his name.
Exactly. He frames it that way. And it taps into that whole theme, doesn't it? Official record versus personal testimony, especially when things get murky. It is worth pointing out, though, in McClin's favor, he apparently does have some written statements from former astronauts, people who were on the NASA site, saying he did work there in some role.
Ah, okay. So there's some corroboration for his employment, at least.
Some, yes. And honestly, he's not the first ex-NASA person to claim seeing alien evidence. Even some astronauts have hinted at things. So while this specific story about Onizuka is debated, the general idea of NASA insiders seeing strange stuff, it's not totally out of left field.
Okay, so McKellen's claim, as startling as it is, doesn't just hang there alone. It kind of echoes these other narratives about secrecy, about potential encounters. And when you put it next to all the stories around Roswell, crash witnesses, claims of autopsies, bodies, it definitely feels part of a larger puzzle.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And Roswell inevitably leads to Area 51.
Yeah.
Right? The widespread belief that whatever crashed ended up there. And look at the official Roswell story itself. It keeps changing. First, the military says, oh, just a weather balloon. Simple.
Right, the classic explanation.
But then, years later, they admit, okay, actually, it was a surveillance balloon, for nuclear tests.
Yeah.
That constant shifting from nothing to see here to a partial, more complex admission, it definitely fuels speculation around claims like McCallan's. Makes you wonder.
So this deep dive into McLean's claims about Onizuka, it really lays out this complex web. You've got the core allegation, the questions about the source, and this backdrop of official narratives that seem to evolve. When you hear extraordinary stories like this, what jumps out at you the most? Is it the actual details, like the description of the beings? Or is it more about the source's trustworthiness? Or maybe the bigger picture, how information gets managed?
That really leads us to the core question, doesn't it? We live in an age with so much information, but also so much doubt. How do you, the listener, sort through it all? How do we balance compelling personal stories against official accounts, or lack thereof, especially when we're talking about the truly unexplained? What do we choose to believe?